We're going to talk about hyperlinks and creating hyperlinks. There are several different types of hyperlinks, and we're going to begin by using the hyperlink dialog box to set up a hyperlink to an existing file or a web page, and we're going to set up a hyperlink to go to a place in our document, and we're going to use a hyperlink to create a new document. And lastly, we can use a hyperlink to call the email program that you use and to set up a pre-addressed email with a subject line already filled in. So we're going to set up some hyperlinks. There's a couple of ways to do it. One of the ways to launch the hyperlink dialog box is to left-click the Insert tab and then left-click Hyperlink. I'm going to close that. We can also get it by right-clicking a cell, and in the shortcut menu, we can launch the hyperlink dialog box that way. And lastly, maybe the quickest way is to press Control-K. So we're going to begin by setting up a hyperlink to an existing file. And with any hyperlink, there's a text that's going to be displayed in the cell. You can set up a screen tip that when somebody hovers over this hyperlink, they'll get this as a message. And then left-click and select the file that you want to open up with this hyperlink. Or you can actually browse and find the file that way. I'm going to close that. Left-click OK, and I have a hyperlink that has the standard formatting applied. It's blue, it's underlined, and when I left-click the hyperlink, I get Book 2 open. I'm going to close Book 2, go down to another cell, press Control-K, and this time we want to set up a hyperlink that takes us to a web page. I'm going to first define the text that's going to be displayed, left-click to find it on the internet. Excel has now inserted the address. Again, I can set up a screen tip, left-click OK, and then left-click OK to complete that. And when I hover over it, I get my screen tip. And when I left-click it, it takes me to the home page, the MSN home page. Back in Excel, whenever we utilize these hyperlinks, they change from blue to purple. And they'll stay purple until you close the workbook and open it up again. You can see where you have been and if you've used the hyperlinks before. So we can also set up a hyperlink to go to a place in this document being Book 1, and I have Sheet 1, Sheet 2, and Sheet 3. Pressing Control-K again, left-clicking Place in this document. Excel has filled in for me, by default, Sheet 1, A1. It's filled in the cell address reference, and down below it's selected and highlighted Sheet 1. I can change that to Sheet 2. I can change the cell reference to be something larger than A1. I can go to A1 to A5, and I can define a range. And then I can change the text that's displayed. And of course, I could set up a screen tip as well. Below the list of sheets, it says Define Names. If I had some named ranges in this workbook, that's where they would be listed. We haven't covered named ranges yet. That's in an upcoming movie. So I'm going to leave it at the cell address A1 to A5. Left-click OK. So now when I left-click my hyperlink, jump to Sheet 2, I'm taken to Sheet 2 in the workbook. Control Page Up to get me back to Sheet 1. I'm still hovering over that, so I see the URL address and some instructions by Excel. Click once to follow, click and hold to select this cell. So we can also create a new document. I'm going to select the cell, press Control-K, left-click Create a New Document, and input some text. And I can define the name of the new document or the new workbook. And of course, set up a screen tip. I can change the location that it's going to be saved to when I open it up. I'm going to leave it at my desktop, and then I can choose whether I want to edit the document now or later. The default is now, and when I left-click OK and confirm the hyperlink settings, I get the document so that I can edit it if I want to. I'm going to close that, and of course, if I left-click this hyperlink, I'll get the new document, the new workbook created, training example, and it'll be saved on my desktop. Left click and close that. The last thing we can do with hyperlinks is to set up an email. I'm going to press Control K and select the last option, which is email address. Again, you can define the text that's going to be displayed in that cell, put in a valid email address, define the subject of the email, and for convenience, Excel would list for us the recently used email addresses to build this hyperlink with. And of course, as usual, we can set up a screen tip that's going to be displayed if you hover over that hyperlink. So that's creating hyperlinks. We first created a hyperlink to an existing file, and we also set up a hyperlink to go to a web page on the internet. We set up a hyperlink that can be used as a navigation tool within this document, within this workbook. We set up a hyperlink that when clicked would create a new workbook for us, and we looked at how to set up an email hyperlink.